Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do another 2024 United States Senate prediction. We got the Democrats and Republicans. I think the Republicans are most likely favored to win, but everyone has a different opinion. So let's just get into it. Let's start off with the states that, we know are going to go red. North Dakota, Wyoming, Utah. All of these are expected states. Mississippi, there's lots of black voters in Mississippi and Tennessee, but there is this thing that does not allow felons, uh, even charged with petty crimes, from voting. I'm putting Tennessee and Mississippi on borderline safe. Probably Mississippi is like 19 points, Tennessee is 18 points. And remember, my margins are for 15 points safe, 5 points likely, and 1 point lean. Uh, Now let's talk about Indiana and Missouri. I'm putting Missouri in likely, because of Josh Allen. He's just not a really good candidate. And then Indiana, I'm also putting it in likely due to Mike Braun running for governor. Braun is the incumbent Republican senator from Indiana, so Indiana is an open seat. Obviously, it doesn't lean red, but it's still an open seat, so I'm gonna put it in likely. West Virginia, that's a guaranteed flip. Without Joe Manchin, Democrats do not have a chance in West Virginia. And obviously, Pete Ricketts will probably hold on to that Nebraska Senate special seat. We'll talk about the other Nebraska seat later, but let's move on to the ones that the Democrats are basically for sure to win. Obviously, there's California. It's Steve Garvey, man. If Steve Garvey was maybe a bit more moderate, he could maybe get California to likely, but once news got out that he voted for Trump, his campaign was basically done. Hawaii, it's Hawaii. Nothing else to say there. New York, Kirsten Gillibrand, she is not losing New York. It could be likely. I'd say around 17 points. If it really does get a bit bad for her, I will put it in likely. Delaware, it's going to be safe. New Jersey, if Bob Menendez didn't suspend his independent campaign or did something like Joe Lieberman when he started that Connecticut for Lieberman party, if he hadn't suspended his campaign, I would put New Jersey into likely or possibly lean, but I'm gonna put it into safe, because it's just a head-on head, and also Curtis Basha did horrible in that New Jersey Senate debate. Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Elizabeth Warren is not losing. Sheldon Whitehouse is not losing. New England is safe for Dems. Now independent leans D. Yeah, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about Bernie Sanders. He's obviously gonna safely keep onto that seat in Vermont. Angus King, he's an interesting one. I'm gonna put his seat as likely. Maine is kind of swing in the presidential level, and Angus King, he's been here for a while. Uh he's a pretty very incumbent. He's been here for a long time. I do not expect Angus King's seat to be competitive, but I'll put it in likely, probably just barely likely, almost as safe, around 14, 13 points. Uh, Actually, I'm just gonna put it in safe. I don't see how anyone could beat Angus King or Bernie Sanders. Let's talk about Minnesota. It's Amy Klobuchar. She's pretty moderate, a lot of moderate views, and it's Minnesota. Minnesota's a lean blue state. She keeps on incumbent. Not really anything bad that would make it go likely or lean. So yeah, Minnesota is gonna go a safe blue. Let's talk about Washington. Washington, I'm gonna put it in to likely. Really, same stuff with Missouri, Indiana. Same stuff for New Mexico. It may not be an incumbent, but these two states are pretty lean blue, and they're not really exactly super extraordinary incumbents either. So it's basically the same thing as Missouri. I'm putting these two states in likely. Before we really get into the swing ones, let's talk about Virginia and Maryland. Maryland, Larry Hogan. If you ran as an independent and somehow the Republicans didn't put someone up, then it might have been able to be more competitive, but come on. It's Maryland. It's gonna go at the best Larry Hogan can do is make it likely. If it was David Trone, I feel like it would be more competitive, especially after David Trone said the N word. I'm not sure if I was supposed to say that. This video might get taken down, but I'm just saying. Maryland, likely at best for Hogan. Definitely would have been better if the Democratic nominee was Trone. Virginia, I'm also putting in likely. Hung Cal destroyed Tim Kaine in that debate. A lot of Virginians are just getting tired with Tim Kaine. Also, Hung Cal is like someone of Asian descent. There's quite a lot of Asians and colored people in general in Virginia, which obviously leans toward Democrats. But maybe they would flip their vote for Hung Cal for a more diverse Senate. Obviously, I would not vote like that, but you know. And I mean, those are really all the non-competitive seats. And this is the map right now. Republicans at 47, Democrats at 41. And I mean, yeah, independents are at 2. They lean D. We add 41 and 2, we get 43. So, let's just start with this again. Let's look at these polls. We go to Real Clear Polling. Let's just start with the one I think is least competitive. That's going to be Florida. It's incumbent Rick Scott. Not exactly the most popular incumbent, but I mean, he's up by 4.5. The most close poll is Scott still up by 1 against Debbie Murkowski-Powell. They keep saying Florida's going to flip. It's not. Also, Republicans are absolutely crushing that Latino vote this year. Seems like they're going to do even better than they did in 2020. Obviously, 2020 was better than 2016. So, yeah, Florida, it's going to go lean red. I feel like Trump does overperform Scott by 2 or 3 points in Florida. And Scott is up by 4.5. I'm not exactly going by the polls, but 4.5 would be lean. I feel like Scott wins by 3 points or possibly 4 points. But yeah, Florida, it's going to go red. Montana. Montana is basically out of the picture for Democrats. I don't think Tester ever had a chance. He's down heavily. 7 points. He's down by more than Murkowski-Powell was down in Florida. And that's saying something. And Tester's an incumbent. I feel like this is finally the year that he's gone. Montana likely red. Alright. Let's go to a couple lean Democratic states now. I want to talk about the Sun Belt first. The Sun Belt is done for Republicans. That's Nevada and Arizona. Rosen is up by 7.5 in the spread on RCP. The closest poll for Brown is Atlas Intel, where Rosen still leads by 2, and Atlas Intel isn't even doing that well this year. At one point, Rosen was up by almost 11 points. That has gone down significantly recently, but it seems like she's climbing back up once again, as you can see if we minimize it like this. Yeah. Brown does not have a chance. Yeah, Rosen is at 50%. Brown only at 42.5. Nevada, I felt like at once Nevada, Republicans had a chance here. At one point, I felt like Nevada could be the closest state in the Senate, besides Ohio or Montana. Obviously, Montana's out of the picture, but at one point, I did feel like Nevada could be closer than Ohio. Closest besides from Ohio, but that is no longer the case. Let's go to Arizona. Arizona, I mean, come on, dude. Why Carrie Lake? She lost the governors in 2022. What makes you think that she can win now? I mean, Gallego isn't up by as much as Rosen is, most likely because he's not an incumbent. If Gallego was an incumbent, he would be up by like 10 points right now. But no, Republicans just had to mess it up by choosing Kerry Lake instead of Mark Lamb. If it was Mark Lamb, it would probably be within like 2 points, or Lamb might even be winning right now. But no, Republicans had to mess it up again. Arizona's going to go likely blue. Okay, now let's talk about the Rust Belt states. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. I feel like the ones that, all of these three are incumbents except for Michigan. And Michigan, I'd say, is the bluest out of all of these presidentially. Alyssa Slotkin isn't the best candidate for the Democrats. Neither is Mike Rogers for the Republicans. So Michigan is going to be the closest, I feel like. Then followed by Pennsylvania, and then followed by Wisconsin. Let's go look at Wisconsin first. Baldwin is up by only 3. That is actually pretty good news. At one point, she was up by like 5 or 6. That has massively gone down. Since October. At the start of October, Baldwin was up by 3.5. Now she's only up by 3. Hovde has actually been doing super good in recent polls. I was actually kind of shocked by this comeback. At one point, Baldwin was up by like 8. Yeah, so this has definitely changed a lot. Wisconsin, I have it going lean blue. Still not within range of Hovde having a chance. But the Rust Belt is definitely doing better for Republicans than the Sun Belt. Now let's go to Pennsylvania. We got an incumbent, Bob Casey, versus Dave McCormick. If we had just chosen McCormick in 2022 instead of that Mehmet Oz, we might have a Republican from Pennsylvania in the Senate right now. But no. But I feel like we could beat Casey this year. We're down by 3.2 in the spread. Still, a couple weeks ago, if we make a couple sprints, and obviously we need a bit of an upset, we could win. At the start of October, Casey was up by 3.7. Now he's only up by 3.2. Little change, but definitely getting better for us in the Rust Belt. Pennsylvania lean blue. Now let's go to Michigan. Michigan is really the only incumbent Democratic seat. No, the only swing seat that is currently blue that is open. We got Alyssa Slotkin. She is only up by 1.9. This is good. There is a poll from Atlas Intel, which honestly isn't even that good anymore. But Rogers was up by 5. That's super good. And obviously Trafalgar, a pretty bad pollster, has a tie. Quinnipiac, not a good pollster, has a tie. But Insider Advantage has Slotkin up by 1, which is good news. And the spread has Rogers up by down by 1.9, trailing Slotkin. But at the start of October, Slotkin was up by 3.3. Look at this jump, right? Look at this jump. See, that is a massive rise to like 45 points. This is getting really good, like I said, for Republicans in the Rust Belt. I have Michigan tilt blue right now. I'm going to keep looking at Michigan. I could definitely see an upset on Election Day. Speaking about Election Day, I will be joining a stream, most likely, with a bunch of big YouTubers. I'm going to be joining Sammy Talks Politics stream. Awesome guy. Very cool YouTuber. Go subscribe to him right now. I'm going to be joining his stream. There's going to be several other YouTubers on it. We know that there's going to be conservative American predictions. There might be the political chatter. There might be some other people like Golden Political Cat, but we'll see then. Right now, let's talk about Ohio. Brown is leading more than Ohio than Slotkin is in Michigan. I have Ohio tilt blue as well. but that's expected. Michigan is a bit more unexpected. But we've been looking at this race for months. We've always knew that Ohio was going to be a close one. Definitely going to keep my eyes on that. But yeah. So now we're left with Texas and Nebraska. I saved these two for last because now the suspense is high. Democrats, if we add that independent, they're at 49. Republicans are also at 49. So these two are the tiebreakers. Let's start with Texas. So with the RCP spread, Cruz is up by a pretty comfortable 4.8. But there are a bunch of very close polls. And there was a recent Republican internal poll that had Cruz up by 1. And internals are supposed to make the Republican candidate, well, for Republican internals, they're supposed to make the Republican internals look like they're doing good, so more people will donate. That poll did not show Cruz doing good. So, Texas, I have it lean red like Florida. Pretty similar situation to Florida. I could see an all red upset on election day. For now, I do have it going red. Now let's go to Nebraska, the final Nebraska seat. The final seat. Oh wow. There's actually not a Nebraska poll on RCP. That's not good. Let's see here if we can find something. Come on, there has to be Nebraska. No Nebraska. That is, not okay. This is. Okay, I'm just gonna bring up 538. 538 polls. Nebraska. Right here. On 538, Nebraska's the closest race. Fisher leads the independent, Democratic-leaning candidate Dan Osborne, a union leader, by only 1.4. Fisher's an incumbent, remember that. Recent polls show Osborne leading in most of them. Yes, most of these polls are sponsored by Dan Osborne, but this independent poll does not affiliate with anyone, has Osborne up by 5. That's crazy. And the most recent poll from Deb Fisher, an internal, which is supposed to make Fisher look good, has her leading by 6. And you're like, okay, 6 isn't that bad, but it's an internal, and it's probably overestimating Fisher by like 4 or 5 points. That's super bad. So Nebraska, I have it lean red, on the edge of tilt red. I could definitely see Dan Osborne winning this seat. I give him like a 40% chance right now. But that's it for today's video. I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed the Senate race. The Senate overview. Please subscribe. Help me out. It would be so amazing if we were able to reach 800 subscribers by election day. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.